Dear students, welcome to our channel. Welcome to online class. I think you are giving importance to your time. Let's get started. Today's topic is the Luncheon by William Somerset Maugham, Unit 5, Lesson 2. This is another part of our discussion. You know that the Luncheon is a very interesting story. Readers get delighted when they read this story. This story begins like this. I caught sight of her at the play. To catch sight of is an idiom. It means to see for a moment. At the play, play is not a verb here, it's a noun. At the play means at a theater. Uh, so the writer saw her at a theater, and in answer to her beckoning means signaling. Uh, I went over during the interval and sat down beside her. So the writer uh, sat down beside her during the interval, and it was long since I had last seen her, and if someone had not mentioned her name, I hardly think I would have recognized her. So someone mentioned her name, and he could recognize the lady guest. She addressed me brightly, "Well, it's many years since we first met. How time does fly." How time does fly? This is not a question. Uh, it means time flies very fast. We are none of us getting any younger, true. Do you remember the first time I saw you? You asked me to luncheon. Did I remember? This is called a flashback technique. The writer refers to the first time uh, and he remembers what happened 20 years ago. He says, "It was 20 years ago and I was living in Paris. I had a tiny apartment in the Latin Quarter overlooking a cemetery, and I was earning barely enough money to keep body and soul together." Uh, he was earning barely enough money to keep body and soul together, so he was in very difficult circumstances. His economic condition was not so good. Uh, the lady guest, she had read a book of mine and had written to me about it. I answered thanking her, and presently I received from her another letter saying that she was passing through Paris and would like to have a chat with me, but her time was limited, and the only free moment she had was on the following Thursday. She was spending the morning at the Luxembourg, and would I give her a little luncheon at Poets? So uh, the lady guest asked him to give her a luncheon at Poets, and Poets is a restaurant at which the French senator sits. So the ordinary people cannot think of going there. The writer was not very rich, but he was too young to say no to a woman, and he was flattered. So he agreed to the request of the lady guest, and they met at Foyers. Now, what happened at Foyers? Notice, I was started when the bill of fare was brought. So when the menu was brought, uh, he was a bit startled. He was a bit shocked because the prices were a great deal higher than I had anticipated. But she reassured me. Uh, she was a bit shocked because the prices were a great deal higher. I never eat anything for luncheon, she said. She was courteous. At the beginning, she said that she uh, never eats anything for luncheon. The writer said, "Oh, don't show that." And then the lady shifted her position. She said, I never eat more than one thing. And she was criticizing the people. I think people eat far too much nowadays. A little fish, she says, a little fish. Perhaps I wonder if they have any salmon. Salmon is not a little fish. She wanted to eat salmon, and well, it was early in the year for salmon, and it was not on the bill of fare. But I asked the waiter if there was any. Yes, a beautiful salmon had just come in. It was the first they had had. So it was very costly. I ordered it for my guest. The waiter asked her if she would have anything, something while it was being cooked. So what happened? Uh, no, she answered. She said, no, I never eat more than one thing unless, notice the use of the word unless. With unless she wanted to have another thing, that is a little caviar. She said, I never mind caviar. My heart sank a little. The writer was a little depressed. Why? Because he knew that he could not afford caviar. Okay. Well, how much money did the writer have? The writer had only 80 francs, and he wanted to spend 15 francs for the lady guest. But now things were happening in a very different way. The writer thought that it would cost him very much. Uh, but I could not very well tell her that. I told the waiter by all means to bring caviar. For myself, I chose the cheapest dish on the menu, and that was a mutton chop. So the writer chose the cheapest dish on the menu for himself, and the lady guest was criticizing him. I think you are unwise to eat meat, she said. Uh, I don't know how you can expect to work after eating heavy things like chops. I don't believe in overloading my stomach. The lady guest said that she doesn't believe in overloading her stomach, but she was taking one item after another item. Uh, and then came the question of drink. I never drink anything for lunch, and she said. Neither do I answered promptly. So the question of drinks naturally get cancelled because the lady guest said, I never drink anything for lunch. So, neither do I answered promptly. That means the writer answered promptly. But the lady guest pretended as if she had not heard anything. She said, except white wine. So she wanted to drink white wine. She proceeded as though I had not spoken. These French white wines are so light. They are wonderful for the digestion. Then she was praising the French white wines. What would you like? I asked hospitably still, but not exactly if you see. She gave me a bright and amicable flash of her what that means. Laughed. She laughed, and it showed her white teeth. She said, "My doctor won't let me drink anything but champagne." So she wanted the costly drink that was champagne. I fancy I turned it trifle. So writer, the writer was a trifle pale, but uh, he had to agree to the demands of the lady guest. I ordered half a bottle. I mentioned casually that my doctor had absolutely forbidden me to drink champagne. What are you going to drink then? Water. So the writer chose water uh, for himself as a drink. She ate the caviar. She ate the salmon. She talked gaily of art, literature, and music. Notice here, she had, in spite of her gluttony, she had this quality. I mean, she had the knowledge of art, literature, and music, and she was talking about art, literature, and music. And what did the writer think? He was actually frightened, and he was wondering what the bill would come to. Now, what would the writer do if the bill came more than that? Actually, she made up a plan. and this has not been mentioned here. If the bill came to more than that, he would put his hand in his pocket and with a dramatic cry say that it had been picked. So this was a very funny situation, but on his part, it was practical thinking. The lady guest was criticizing her. I see you are him. I see you are in the habit of eating heavy luncheon. The writer said, I am only going to eat on one thing. The writer said, yeah, said, I am only going to eat one thing. Um, I said, uh, as the waiter came again with a full of fear, she waved him aside with an airy gesture. Now she did another terrible thing for the writer. Actually, the waiter came, and what did she do? She wanted to have asparagus. Uh, she wanted to have asparagus, which are very costly. She said, I should be sorry to leave Paris without having some of them. So the writer had to order asparagus for her. My heart sank. The writer said, my heart sank. I have seen them in the shops, and I knew that they are horribly expensive. My mouth had often watered at the sight of them. So the writer wanted to have them in the past, but he could not eat them because of his poor economic condition. Um, Madam wants to know if you have any of those giant asparagus. I asked the waiter. So they had it. They had giant asparagus. And I am not in the least hungry, my guest said, but if you insist, I don't mind having some asparagus. I ordered them. Aren't you going to have any? No, I never eat asparagus. So the writer said he never ate asparagus. I know there are people, still she was criticizing the writer. We waited for the asparagus to be cooked, finished this meat was not a question now of how much money I should have made about the rest of the month, whether I had enough money to pay the bill. The asparagus appeared. Uh, they are enormous succulent. Succulent means juicy and delicious. The smell of the melted butter tickled my nostrils. So he got the smell of the melted butter. Coffee, I said, is just an ice cream and coffee. So she again chose two items, ice cream and coffee. I was fast carrying now. So I ordered coffee for myself and an ice cream and coffee for her. You know, there is one thing I totally believe in, she said as she ate the ice cream. One should always get up from a meal feeling one could eat a little more. Are you still hungry? I asked faintly. No. Oh no, I am not hungry. You see, I don't eat luncheon. I have a cup of coffee in the morning and then dinner. But I never eat more than one thing for luncheon. I was speaking for you. So she said that she was uh, speaking for the writer, but she did not care about the feelings of the writer. Uh, then a terrible thing happened. The head waiter came with a basket full of used peaches, and the lady guest took one and mindedly. So what happened when the bill came? Uh, he had to pay 77 francs and 3 francs for the waiter, but that was not adequate, but he was compelled to give the waiter only 3 francs. Follow my example, she said as we shook hands, and never eat more one thing for lunch. And very funny, she advised him to follow her example and not to eat more than one thing for luncheon. The writer gave a sharp reply, I will do better than that. I will eat nothing for dinner tonight. Actually, the writer had no money. Humorist. The lady did not care for it. She called him a few humorist, jumping into a cab. You are quite a humorist. But this is the message that the writer gives us. This is the moral lesson that the writer gives us. I have had my revenge at last. I do not believe that I am a vindictive man. The writer does not believe that He was a vindictive man. But when the immortal gods take a hand in the matter, it is pardonable to observe the result with come. Today she weighs 21 stones. So she has got she got her punishment, you know. She weighed 21 stone. One stone equal to 14 pounds. So 21 stone equal to 294 pounds. Uh, the average weight of a person is 60 kg or 137 pounds. So you can understand the difficulties the lady guest faced after uh, 20 years. So, so you can say that the wrongdoers cannot get away with their wrongdoings. Nature has its own way of punishing them. Uh, Look at this picture, the luncheon. Here, these pictures. Okay, this is salmon. This is salmon, a piece of salmon, and the lady guest uh, just took at first, and you can see another picture uh, here. This is the waiter with the biggest smile on her face. This is the writer, and he had nothing on his plate, but the lady guest had everything there, and you see, and this is this is the head waiter with just a basket full of peaches. The lady guest was taking one absent-mindedly, and this is the most concluding picture. You know, the lady guest became very fat. Uh, she weighed 21 stone. Uh, uh, it was very difficult on her part to move freely. So you can understand that uh, gluttony is a vice, it's not a virtue, and nobody should be a voracious eater. And you read the story very closely, and I am giving you some homework. Prepare yourselves for these questions, short questions. Where was the writer living 20 years ago? How much did he earn at the time? What is Foyers? Why did the writer never think of going to Foyers earlier? You know his economical condition. Why did the writer agree to entertain the lady guest? Why did the writer listen to the lady guest attentively? So try to give answers to these questions. See you next time. Thank you all.